Hey guys, I'm back. And while I was cleaning up my room and thinking about what a total buzzkill my parents are for not letting me watch any of my cool mystery shows that I love, I found some of my old books in the mess and remembered that some of the coolest mysteries that I've ever dived into were in books. That's where my love of solving puzzles and fighting crime first came from. My parents let me read anything I want. I mean, as long as it's age appropriate. And all of these books are. The mystery genre is just the coolest. And I especially love the kinds where the kids are the ones solving the crimes themselves, like in Stranger Things or with the Scooby Gang. The first one I found was actually one my dad recommended me a long time ago. It's a classic. It even won a Newbery Award. It's called The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin. And my dad said that not just kids like me would like it, but adults too. He rereads it himself every couple of years. It's sort of like your classic murder mystery, only with a twist. It's a game, kind of like that game Clue, except this time it's not Colonel Mustard in the dining room with a candlestick. And it doesn't take place in a mansion at all, really. More like down the street for one, a mansion called the Westing Estate. See, this man named Barney Northrup is selling apartments in a new building on Lake Milwaukee, just down the shore from the mansion of the reclusive Samuel Westing. Each tenant has been carefully selected, and as they move in, they find out that all 16 of them have been chosen as Westing's heirs. They don't know each other, and they're certainly not related or anything, but Westing has left this strange will that's built as a puzzle. The 16 of the heirs are given $10,000 and paired up, and told that whoever solves the puzzle will inherit Westing's company and $200 million. By the way, the characters are Grace Jake, Angela George, Catherine Chris, Theo, Mr. Madame, Doug Who, Judge Ford, Siddell, Crow, Flora Bombach, and my personal favorite, a little girl named Turtle Wexler. After reading the will, they are told that Westing has been murdered, and that one of them is the murderer. They are given a few clues, and reminded that the clues they don't have are really the most telling. One major reoccurring theme of this book is that appearances can be deceiving. Many of the characters are judged based on their appearance, and throughout the book, these judgments prove to be inaccurate. The overall game is based on the idea that a certain person can transform himself into a whole host of different characters in order to execute this game. The limitations we put on ourselves and others based on outward judgments can lead us astray. The concept also addresses another important theme: identity. As the characters play the game, they are shown parts of themselves and others that they've always hidden, and as the book progresses, they take on aspects of their own identities that they should have been displaying all along. They are redefining themselves, just as Westing always did. And through this process, they come to better realize that it's better to be authentic and be who you really are than it is to worry about appearances and other superficial characteristics. This other book I found, lounging around under my bed next to some month-old pizza, is about a game too. But this one doesn't have any talk of murderers or killers. It's still really cool though. And it has another real-life game, and an eccentric rich old guy too. It's called Book Scavenger by Jennifer Chambliss Bertram. The author describes herself as a book-loving, game-playing, puzzle-solving daydreamer of a kid who grew up in San Francisco. And that sounds a lot like me, except I grew up on the East Coast. But you know who else it sounds like? The main character of Book Scavenger, 12-year-old Emily, whose family is always moving around. At this point, they've lived in all 50 states, and Emily is starting to get a little tired. They're on the move again at the start of this book, and have come to San Francisco. Emily's only silver lining with this move is that the Bay Area also happens to be home to her literary idol, Garrison Griswold, who is the creator of the online sensation game Book Scavenger, an interactive game where books are hidden all over the country and the clues to find them are revealed through puzzles. It kind of sounds to me a little bit like Pokemon Go that my mom lets me play on her phone, only it has books to find instead of Pokemon, and you use puzzles in this game. Emily is a very skilled player at the game, so she's very excited to meet Mr. Griswold. But shortly after Emily and her family arrive in San Francisco, Griswold is attacked and shot. Hey, I guess this one does include some violence after all. Anyways, In the same station that Griswold is shot, Emily finds a hidden book, a handmade version of an Edgar Allan Poe book. By the way, Poe is a great mystery writer too. My grandma got me his complete works for Christmas. She said not to tell my parents. Emily believes that this particular Poe story is the beginning of a new Griswold game. Emily is determined to solve all the clues and find the treasure that they lead to. But she's not the only person interested in the treasure. She's being followed around by a pack of thugs. Emily calls on her new friend James, who happens to have an interest in codes and riddles, to help her with the game. With each clue, they come closer to finding out what Griswold hid, but also closer to the danger right behind them. As Emily and her new friend race to finish the game, and her idol begins to recover from his gunshot, Emily is starting to get comfortable in her new home. James's family has lived here all his life, so he's able to introduce Emily to all kinds of sights and sounds and all the wonder of San Francisco. The thugs aren't the only fear looming in Emily's mind, of course. There's also the fact that, having moved almost every year of her life, the San Francisco she's falling in love with is just a temporary stop, as she knows her parents plan to jump states again soon. The theme of this book, aside from the mystery, is adventure. But the catch is, the adventure that Emily gets from the book Scavenger game is all the adventure she wants. Her parents' life of adventure, never settling down, is starting to turn into a real bummer, and it's only brought her heartache. The author has crafted a really awesome mystery here, with a unique and complex bookish game at its center. Speaking of bookish, Poe's not the only literary figure who pops up in this book. Look for some other appearances. Of all the literary characters featured, the most lovable character in this book is definitely sweet and clever Emily. I really identified with her, and I think you will too. Her race to find Griswold's prizes and escape danger nicely contrast with the other, often too real stress-causing areas of her life, like moving, always starting new schools, and coming to terms with her feelings about her family's lifestyle choices. Oh, and I forgot to mention the best part. It's one of a series, so you can follow Emily and her friends through more than just one book. Before I go, there's one more book I wanted to tell you about. And this one is part of a series too. I rescued it from my cat's litter box just in time. You'll get to meet these characters in more books and have multiple adventures with them too. This one's called Mr. Lemoncello's Library, and it's by a guy called Chris Grabenstein. This one also starts off with a 12-year-old. This time, a boy. And Kyle Keeley loves games too, but not really ones about books. He would much rather play video games and solve puzzles than pick up a book. But when he hears the announcement that his hero, the famous game maker Luigi Lemoncello, has designed the new public library in his small Ohio town, Kyle just can't wait to get inside. And after he writes an essay that wins a contest, he wins an early all-access pass to the library along with 11 other of his classmates. During the opening night lock-in, librarian Yanina Zinchenko gives the kids an exclusive tour of the library's many exciting features. Holograms, levitating stepladders, a video game room, interactive exhibits, and high-tech book sorting machines make it unlike any place they could have ever imagined. The kids wind up having an unforgettable slumber party. But when the morning comes, they realize the doors are still locked. Kyle and the others find out that they themselves are the players in Lemoncello's new game, and their objective is to find a way out of the library. The kids must use all their wits and cunning to navigate the maze-like library and uncover the secret exit route before the time runs out. The prize that could await them? Fame, fortune, and being the spokesperson for Lemoncello's entire gaming empire. This really snooty kid called Charles Chillington thinks he can be the one to win. But Kyle quickly realizes that teaming up with his friends is the only way he has a real shot at victory. Through the competition's elaborate twists and turns, Kyle learns a lot about his town, and a lot about books. He even decides that they might be as cool as video games, and he adds a few to his reading list. This book has it all. the mystery, the adventure, and it's just really, really funny too. All that makes for a speedy read. Grabenstein has created a really interactive reading experience that is sure to win you over, whether you're a book lover, a game lover, or just a mystery lover like me. And without giving anything away and spilling the beans, the author, Chris Grabenstein, has even planted a secret bonus puzzle in this book for clever readers to solve. A mystery inside a mystery book. Perfect for me. And I bet perfect for you too. Well, I'm about to go solve the mystery of what you have to do to get the child lock off a TV without my mom or dad finding out. Or maybe my dad forgot to put it on again. But hey, don't you forget those cool books that I recommended to you. The Westing Game by Ellen Raskin, Book Scavenger by Jennifer Chambliss Bertram, and Mr. Lemoncello's Library by Chris Grabenstein.